Hello everybody, Edre here. I'm going to be following up my Nine Inch Nails review of Ghosts 5 with Ghost 6 Locusts. Um, Much like the last one, this is still an ambient album. It's still part of that whole Ghost series that Trent Reznor had worked on a while back, but is recently revisited. But there's a lot of differences here. Definitely a lot more differences between 5 and 6 than there was between 5 and, 1 through 4. Um, whereas the, Whereas 5 felt very natural, very human, 6 feels very unsettling. Throughout this album, there's haunting piano throughout it, very haunting little melodies, that make this whole thing feel dissonant. And, I said that, and I feel like this has a lack of emotion. Not that this is a boring album. What I mean is that this is so creepy that it doesn't even feel human. And that's actually a positive thing for this album. Because it takes a lot of work to actually make something feel so unnatural that it doesn't even feel human. But yeah, I feel like this is a much more dark album. A much more haunting album, I guess you could say. It really makes it feel like there's no hope. On Ghosts 5 together, there was like a glimpse of hope throughout all of it. Like there was a light at the end of the tunnel. But on Ghost 6, it's very bleak. It's very just, this is it. No hope. And I feel like the less melodic, feel-good sounds throughout it, the less pretty sounding this album is, the more creepy it gets. And I think that's a positive. I really do like the tone of this album. I really like the way he's able to execute this album very well. I think it's very well put together. Reminds me of a soundtrack that would be in like a horror game, kind of. And I'm not like the last one. I'm not gonna go track by track because this is an ambient piece, and I really don't feel like doing that for ambient albums. But the song "Run Like Hell" actually has one of the only beats that I've heard so far behind these tracks. But there really isn't much really to say about this project. I feel because a lot of these things I did cover in the last review. But I will say this. I will say that Trent Reznor still is really in his comfort zone when he's doing this ambient, creepy music, and I think that he has done yet another good job. I personally do feel that Ghost 5 is a bit more cohesive, is a bit more complete, but I do think that Ghost 6 does have a stronger atmosphere, a stronger overall tone. But I gave the last one an 8 out of 10. I just feel like this one doesn't all fit together all the time as well. That's just my personal opinion. But I do genuinely enjoy it. I do think it's a fun listen. I'm okay. That's okay. I need to stop saying fun listen because this album is a bit more depressing, is a bit more dark. But interesting listen's a better word. But at the end of the day, I think that he still pulled through with yet another good ambient album. And I think that this is a strong 7. You know, anything above a 5 is good. Anything below a 5 is a negative. So a strong 7 is pretty positive. Sorry if the review wasn't too long, mainly just because I didn't have to go through all the different tracks. But that's it. Nine Inch Nails, Ghost 6, Locusts.